That was an aggressive crack. Welcome back to Two Idiots Drinking Vodka and Talking Hockey. I'm Dan.
And I'm Rhodes.
Cheers, buddy, to I don't know, a new beginning?
Yeah, a
Changes?
new chapter in the Canucks
Can
saga, I guess.
I?
Cheers.
Oh, fuck, that's bad. I'm out of regular vodka, so I'm drinking double chocolate flavored vodka.
Oh,
Oh, not that good.
is it cold at least?
Mm-mm.
Oh God,
Warm chocolate vodka. Oh.
there's nothing that
What?
sounds good about that.
No, it really isn't. I probably should shake it on ice or something here, but fuck it, here we are.
Yep.
Um, Shit, where do we start? I feel like this last week was wild. Obviously we had 4 games. We're recording a day late here.
Yep.
Uh,
3-game winning streak, and then
yeah,
and then the trade before the game and a trade after the game. And
well, that
nobody
was
really
it.
cares about the game. Like I honestly, I slept through it. I had to go to. I had an early night, and
Yeah, no,
woke up
fair,
to
fair
the
enough.
second trade this morning.
Oh, that's it probably, and just like a bunch of messages from me being like, "Rhodesy, what the fuck?"
Tons of messages. It was like, fuck. It's a one-sided conversation.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, I was definitely like blowing up your phone there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just jump into the trades here. I mean, obviously huge trades here. Millsy's gone.
Well,
Um
I got one sec. One sec. Just give myself a little pat on the back because I nailed it, right? I said, look, if you're going to trade anyone, you're trading Miller. You're trading him early to give you enough time this year to look at Pedersen because you still got a chance to move Pedersen. So I don't think Pedersen's out of the hot seat yet. You know, I think
oh,
it's put up or shut up time for EP40 now.
oh, I was gonna get to that. Yeah, I totally agree, man. Like I thought Miller had to be the one to move. I mean, I had mentioned it to you and I see how much validity to it there is, but like obviously there's a lot of turmoil around Miller and like he seemed like the most obvious candidate to move, right? There's obviously the quote unquote feud between him and Pedersen, like whatever fucking Miller, during practice they're telling him to nut up or like, whatever differences they had, like I think that was pretty minor. There's a buddy of mine from work who claims he has a connection to the Canucks organization saying that the reason Miller took a leaf there was because Sprong was fucking his wife. How much validity there is to that statement, I have no idea, but I thought it was
Allegedly.
hilarious.
Allegedly.
Allegedly fucking his wife. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that balding idiot has a chance with that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows? I don't
Anyways,
really want to even touch that. Like it's a shitty
I think it
situation, right? But
It is. It really is. It's a shitty situation that the Canucks were in, and the amount of noise that the media was making around it was deafening. Like I
it
can
was
only imagine as a player, it's fucking hard to play when there's just all of these rumors flying around, trade rumors,
yeah.
who fucked who, who's not friends with who. Like I'm hoping with this Miller trade now, it's hopefully a lot of that noise is behind us.
Well,
Like I'm not
they need
saying
to
that the
win some
Canucks.
hockey games. They need to win some hockey. I think it'll quell for a little bit, like a week or two. But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
need to win some hockey games. Ultimately
No, I
that's the cure all, right? That's the
No, I agree. And I mean, honestly, this upcoming week looks like we might have a chance. I mean, not to jump all over the place, but we're playing the Red Wings next tomorrow, which should be a game we win. Mind you, they've been pretty hot as of late. Avs, like a tough challenge always, but I feel like it's a 50-50 flip with them. It's either like they're playing the Avalanche or playing defense or they're not. And then the Sharks, I mean, they just moved Granlund, so presumably they're a little bit weaker offensively. So,
well.
we should have
Let's
a good chance.
take back a step and let's get back to this trade. So Miller goes out, and
No, I'm fucking rambling right now,
you are
bud.
rambling. I know. You're rambling Dan. That's what you are.
But yeah, the trade,
So
the return.
Philip, I thought it was Cheadle, but everyone keeps saying Heedle. So okay, it's Philip Heedle. So that's another Philip that we got with an F on our team. Seems like a big dude, 25, so 7 years younger than Miller.
Yep.
I don't know much about him, right? His stats aren't exactly
Well, he had
popping
a
off the
season.
score sheet, but from
He
what
had a
I
pretty solid season last year with New York. Like he
23
when
points in
you when
75 games and a minus 22.
no
Oh no
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 no no! Sorry, last year,
this,
last year,
this
six
this
six
season.
6 points in 10 games last year.
Okay, sorry. No, he got plagued with injuries last year. Okay, 2022-23 is what I'm referencing.
Yeah,
45 points, 74 games. I know that's nothing to fucking write home about. That's obviously not the same caliber player Miller is.
no,
That being said, we did get that first, which is,
and
I
it
think
ultimately turned into Market Patterson to another Patterson, right? That's ultimately what that
exactly.
turned into. So it's
No,
similar sort of vein. It was like a three-way trade without an officially three-way trade. It's very similar
yeah,
to what they did
100%.
with
Like
Bobrovin.
literally after one trade closed, the other trade was initiated and closed. Like it all happened within like a fucking 6 hour window. Like,
Yeah.
but sorry, what I'm trying to get at is like, yes, obviously Don Cheadle or Heedle or however you pronounce his name. Um, he's not going to replace Miller as a center.
No.
We all know that. He's probably going to fill in. I don't even know if he's going to fit second, probably third line. Like I think Suter's kind of proven himself. I like him,
So
but
what I have heard with Heedle is that it's possible because of the way New York was stacked, right, with down the center line.
yeah, you had
He
Kreider and Sabanajad there.
well, and Trocheck, right?
Oh,
So
Stroh, yeah, Trocheck center too. You're right.
there wasn't really an opportunity for him. Now there's an opportunity, and perhaps that's what he needs. And I've heard that the Canucks wanted him, so their pro scouting has seen something in him, and so far, the pro scouting on the Canucks has been pretty good. They obviously swung and miss on Desharnais, and we'll get to that. But I mean, by and large, the pro scouting from the Canucks, from this management team's been pretty decent. So maybe there's something more to him than what he was getting in New
I mean,
York because he was just
he's
stuck.
totally. I agree with that because, like, I mean, he is a first rounder after all. He was drafted 21st overall in 2017. So, like, he's not. He was obviously good enough to get drafted in the first round. Played his entire career in New York, putting up like whatever pretty mediocre numbers. But like, you're right. He does have the opportunity to hopefully flourish. And it's at the end of the day, does he fit with Tockett's system? And I think that's kind of ultimately where any player that we pick up, is he going to fit in that system? Because if he doesn't, well, then he's not going to do well. Like, but let's give the guy a chance. He's literally freshly a Canuck and he hasn't even played yet. But yeah, I personally like the overall the because what was the overall details of that trade again? It was like we gave up Miller.
Miller, Brandstrom, and
Yeah,
this
Landstrom with like
Jackson Dorrington, who I think was the big defenseman, like the 6'5", 6'6" dude that they drafted.
but we have such a pipeline of D men between like Willander and the Pedersen number three, like it's or two, however the fuck you want to number the guys. It's just I think
Well,
I think
yeah,
sorry, go
it
ahead.
could be, but and also like on to your point about do they work with the system? It's obvious Brandstrom didn't work with Tocchet.
Exactly. He was too offensive. Tocchet loves a defensive structure, so like
Yeah.
and you already got Hughes as your puck moving defenseman. Like if you kind of need a more shutdown defenseman in place. So,
Well, and you've got Kronik as another great puck moving defenseman, and now bringing in Pedersen's a big boost. Like he's far better than Brandstrom is, you know.
oh, agreed,
And then
agreed.
they did get back. So getting back from the Rangers, they got the first round pick, which obviously flipped to was nothing. They flipped it to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
So
I honestly called that before it even happened. I was like, this first round pick is just a technicality that
yeah,
we're going to use as a bargaining chip with somebody else.
yeah. But what they did in that trade is they got back this Victor Mancini or Mancini, the Italian Guido, and he's he's 3 years younger than Brandstrom. He's another defensive prospect, slightly smaller cap hit, and doesn't need waivers. If you bring him up, send him down. He's because he's so early in his contracts or whatever. You don't need to put him on waivers, so it's super
Yeah,
easy to manage, right, for the Canucks.
totally. This
Abbotsford
was
and
his
Vancouver.
first
So
year with the big. Sorry, I was just gonna say this was his first year with the big club here with the Rangers. There, he played only 15 games and put up 5 points, which terrible.
yeah, he's locked down till 2026. So you got another year, a year of him before you even got to worry about signing a contract, which then he would be on waivers, right? Or
Yeah,
require waivers. Um, and then obviously Philip Hedl that we've talked about, 25, whatever. But to me, it was the big things, the cap savings too, right? They didn't have to retain on anything on Miller. Miller's got that
well,
eight
and that was
million
that was
going
the
in for
reason
another
that,
5 fucking years.
well, I
Why
know, right?
why
And
New York
he
took that? I don't fucking know, but I'm glad they did.
honestly, yeah, right. Like I think that was the problem is like I heard that this exact trade or a very similar rendition, I think it might have been like Lindgren in place of Mancini there, which he's fine. He's just another third line defenseman. Um, that trade fell through because New York was looking for retention. So then they obviously came back to the table with this option now, no retention, and like you said, that cleared up $8 million in cap space. Cheadle, I think what does he get paid? 5, I want to say. So like there's 3 million just
He's
went.
he's a little bit less. He's 4.4 to 8. So they cleared a little over 3.5 million off the out of the cap space. And then
Whatever.
and then the Pedersen deal, right? So then they make the move to Pedersen. They give him the first by giving him Danton Heinen. It's unfortunate. I like Danton Heinen,
Me
but
too. I
but
agree.
I can see that there's enough enough parts that the Canucks have for that sort of fourth line role. It's not a it sucks, but it's not going to hurt the team. I don't think. And then giving up Darren A to that's 4.2 million, and they brought back 4 million in Pedersen. So
Was he
they
four?
even
Oh yeah, he's just over four,
so they
four and
even
change.
yeah, they saved like another 200K on that because Drew O'Connor, I don't think maybe he plays as a left wing. Maybe he's a swap for Heinen, and in case okay, there's a little bit of an eating there, but ultimately it opens up space. The Canucks now have almost 6 million in cap space right now.
Well, that's it. So they could still go after another center here before the
Exactly,
trade deadline. Yeah.
exactly.
No,
So, but again, they got to start winning some games, right? They got to start winning
yeah,
some games to say that they're going to be a buyer. But yeah, yeah, they're it's very clever management. Like
yeah, it's like I've been seeing a lot of people kind of shitting on the trades, being like, "Oh man, we got absolutely fucking hosed by New York," and like yada yada. But it's like I don't know. Like they obviously see something in Marcus Pedersen. They obviously see that Cheadle could fill in. Like so,
yeah,
just this is daily face off, and it obviously doesn't mean shit right now because they haven't played any sort of practices with any line combinations. But the way they see it slotting in, and I don't know if I necessarily agree, is Drew O'Connor and Hedel there falling in on the second line with Garland. I would personally keep Suter up on that second line. Um, and then maybe even like I don't know, like that left wing between O'Connor, Hoglander, and Joshua, like those three guys can switch wherever. Like I think the Jake DeBrusk, PD, and Besser line is like now set in stone, and
yeah.
like you said, this is
That's
that line.
that's your top line, hands down.
That's your
That's your
top
number
line,
one
and
line.
that's like okay, PD. We're literally giving you because
Yep.
arguments in previous, like previous the previous months here is like, oh well, Pedersen's playing with the leftover scrubs and Miller's playing. Right? So it's like, well, now you have literally no excuse. It's like Pedersen, you are centering your two best wingers. Show us what you got, bud.
Yeah. And he's got chemistry with both of them, right? He's played well with DeBrusk,
Yes.
and he's obviously played for years and played well with Brock. So yeah, there's no excuse. There's no excuses left. This is put up or shut up time for EP40. Like this is it, And I hope he puts up. I hope he shows to be who I think we all think and know he can be, right? That he's proven he can be over the years. Um,
I think there's just been a lot of noise, and I mean, like, we're all fucking human. Obviously, we're susceptible to the noise, and like obviously it's affected his play. Like, everyone's talking about this. Does he have a nagging knee injury? Does he not? Who fucking cares? Let's just see. Like, if he's like you said, if by the end of the season he doesn't do anything good for us, he might be on the move as well here. Like,
yeah,
if management doesn't feel like he's going to be able to give the value that his contract is worth.
yeah,
Whether that means we have to eat a bit of that moving him, who fucking knows? But we'll see.
yeah. Well, and I do know that he has a no trade that kicks in July 1st.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's when the new contract comes in.
Yeah, I think, but so we'll see. You know, and yeah, I don't know if O'Connor fits in on the second line. I think it could be Hoglander. Again, I think you kind of got like a Swiss Army knife of people, you know, and wouldn't be
You,
surprised at all to see Suter getting, second line center minutes to
dude,
Heedle. It depends.
he's like third on our team for scoring. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be a waste of a talent to dump him on a third or fourth line. Not that it'd be fourth, but
He's
yeah,
he plays wherever. You know, he does whatever he's asked to do, right?
yeah,
And
it's true.
he can be on the second line, he can be on the third because he fits. He whenever when Miller was out, he was the second line. When Miller was in, he was the third line, right? So I don't know where, to me, him and Heedle probably interchangeable. Bluger, I think you're pretty set that he's going to be your fourth line. He's going to of the four centers,
I think
probably your low minute center.
yeah, agreed. And then on your right wing there, you got Garland, Carlson right now, just because Sherwood's hurt, and Pizza Man. So it's like either Carlson or Pizza Man are interchangeable on that fourth line, and I could see, Sherwood popping in that third line. Garland's proven himself that he deserves the minutes he gets. He's been fucking awesome for us this year.
Yeah, and I honestly I just don't know enough about Drew O'Connor to even see like what puts him as a second line center. I
Yeah, no, I same. Like I literally don't know him from a fucking hole in the ground. Like
he's
I'm
what 33
obviously.
points last year, 16 goals, 17 assists. Like to me, he's just I think I would be surprised if Joshua or Hoglander are getting higher more minutes than him. You know, if Joshua's with Joshua back.
Yeah, yeah. Josh was back now. Yeah, no, like I mean, he had pretty mediocre numbers last season there too. I mean, not bad. He put up over 30 points, but yeah, like you said, he's probably going to slot in third or fourth line there.
Yeah,
It's good. Like I think, there's going to be a bit of growing pains with that many parts moved, but yeah, I don't know. I think our offense isn't looking too bad. I still think you push for that second line center unless Suter can prove that he can hold that position this year. And when the salary cap increases, maybe you get somebody that's going to be a UFA because there's a bunch of UFAs coming up. I can't remember the list, but there's a bunch of guys coming up after this year. So with that salary cap increase, like fuck, maybe we try and go for somebody to fill that slot. But I just wanted to move on to the defense here quick. So
yeah,
one thing I've noticed the last few games, and sure it was a 3-game winning streak against arguably some tougher teams for some of the schedule there. Well, actually, no, fuck. Us and the Blues are comparable, but I've noticed for the last little while that Hronik and Hughes have been split up, and it hasn't been terrible. Like Myers, they've got that old chemistry, and I think it's good for Hronik to try and if he gets paired up with Pedersen, like that could be a really good second defensive pairing.
yeah. I mean, I think our defense is looking a lot better with Marcus Patterson in the lineup. Like really a lot better.
Yeah, I mean we got Forbert back, and he's been pretty good for us. Like and Susie's been he's been managing the minutes he's given, so it's like yeah, I don't feel like we're bringing up any AHLers. Like, like Juleson, as much as that guy blocks everything, like he's no Chris Tanev, and like he just doesn't, he's not. I don't know, he's not quite there. He does still cough up the puck a fair bit.
Yeah, I mean he'll play if they make the playoffs. I guarantee you there will be injuries, and we'll see Juleson in the lineup, and they have enough, I think, sort of interchangeable parts on defense. Other than, I mean, obviously Quinn Hughes, you can't replace him. I heard he might be a little hurt, so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, he
see.
got a little banged up that last game there. He's definitely favoring something there. I don't know if it's his ribs or what, but we'll see. We play in
Yeah,
another
but they played
24.
yeah, they played Detroit, and then I think it's a break, right, for the four nations. I think they get a 2 week break.
Is that what's coming up right now? Is it already that time there? No, not quite yet. No, they play 4 more games before that break happens. So they play the
Right,
Red Wings, Avalanche, and Sharks.
and then
Uh,
the Leafs.
And then yeah, then we got the prime time game against the Leafs on the Saturday, and then yeah, then we don't play till the 22nd. So it's kind of nice. Like it gives them 4 games here to try and see what works right off the bat.
Yeah.
Hopefully win a couple of those at least. Like the Detroit Sharks game, hopefully should be wins. Avs, Maple Leafs, who knows? I mean, fuck, maybe we blank the Leafs again. But
I mean, they are
it
they
gives them,
are the Saturday night Canucks, right? Like, so I mean,
yeah.
there's a
So
good
far they've
chance.
been. Oh man, if we blank the Leafs again, that would be. I think that'd probably be one of those like Canucks haven't won both games against the Leafs since 19 diggity 2 or whatever stat somebody would pull out of their ass.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, here let's have a quick shot to all the new changes and hopefully they pan out.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I'm
it
gonna say to some savvy management. That's what I'm gonna say.
to
Cheers.
some what's all right.
Savvy management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I uh,
So
I,
go ahead.
I like it. I'm impressed by it, and something ticked with me too. Right? You were. I remember you were messaging me all pissed off. I don't have Globe and Mail. I won't pay for the paywalls, but um, I didn't read that article with Rutherford with Jr.
Oh, I caught it. I should have just sent you actually the Reddit link there because somebody had posted the whole article as a comment, and like I kind of skimmed it to be quite honest, but it was just airing a bunch of fucking dirty laundry, and like I think the only advantage to him doing that, because like as a fan it infuriates you. You're just like, why are we like, yes, we get it, this is all happening, like why do we need to like fuel the fire? But I think the point of why he was doing that is he did bring up in the interview that like yes, teams have been trying to lowball us for Miller and Pedersen, and I think this was his way of publicly saying we're not going to let that happen,
Could be. I
right?
my thinking on it was the only reason he was having it and saying those things is because they basically had a deal wrapped up, and
Yeah, maybe.
they knew that this was like they knew that they were moving on from this, and he was just kind of maybe helping to set some narrative on it, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Like it's I don't know, like it.
Because I don't think I remember seeing some comments like, oh, this, the GM's coming out and saying this, it's going to hurt the value. It's like everybody knows.
Well,
Like
that's it. Like it's
you'd
not.
have to live under a fucking rock
Well,
to,
that's what I mean,
to
and
not.
that's what I said. I think the only like reading that article, the only thing I took from it was the fact that he was literally calling out the other GMs, or like he's the president obviously, but calling out the GMs that like we're not gonna settle for your scraps here just because we've got this issue. It's like if we have to, we wait till the offseason. We were talking about that last episode that like
Yeah,
if the Canucks can't find the right fit or they don't get the right return, then they're not going to make that trade, right?
yeah, yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's maybe not what you would totally expect for someone of Miller's caliber, but considering all the factors, I think it's a pretty. Honestly, I looking at it from New York side, I'm not sure why you make that deal. Why you add a third
Give up
over
first for
30
him.
center that's with a long term high value contract, you know?
Yeah, with obviously clearly has some issues maintaining his emotions. Like
Well, yeah, and he has a known track record of not being, let's say, disagreeable, you know?
oh no, 100%, man. And like
Like,
we've talked about it. Like he's like when he's on and he's playing well, he elevates the team.
yeah,
When he's in his funk or he's in his own fucking head, he ends up bringing the team down and he ends up just
yeah,
saying and doing dumb shit on the ice.
yeah.
Like
Well, and his attitude, I mean, it's something like followed him throughout his career, right? Like it was known when he was in New York that he was a dick and he was, people didn't really like him. And same in Tampa Bay, and then when he got to Vancouver, his play started elevating to a point where, okay, whatever, you deal with it, right? You put up with it because he's that good. But when your play's not there and you're still a dick, like,
well, but and I mean, like look back, whatever it was, a couple years ago now. Like why did Horvat leave? Like, presumably there was a bit of tension between the two of them too, and Canucks took the gamble on Miller, and then now you're back in the same fucking boat with Pettersson. So it's like at that point you got to cut the cancer.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah, and
it,
in times maybe I still think moving Horvat was the right call, but it does put some doubt in my mind that hey, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it should have been. Maybe they should have dumped Miller at that time and kept Horvat. Maybe
it's
they'd
it
be.
totally.
It's a I don't know, right? And we'll never know because obviously it's not what
Oh,
happened. But
it's in butts for candies and nuts. Like I get it. Like
yeah,
it's
we all Merry Christmas.
at that point, the reason I still think I'm fine with the Horvat moving on because if Horvat didn't move on, I don't think Hughes would have gotten the captaincy. And I really like Hughes as a captain. I think he brings a calmness to the team
Yeah.
that we need.
No, I mean I think Quinn Hughes is as close to like a person that can do no wrong to me as there is. I mean, obviously no one's incapable of doing wrong, but goddamn, Quinn Hughes is.
Dude, okay, so I meant to look this up before this episode, but luckily somebody else on the internet did it for me. Over the last 13 games, Canucks have put up 27 goals that were not empty netters. So like excluding any empty net goals, we put up 27 goals.
Yeah,
Of those 27 goals, Quinn Hughes was on the ice for 20 of them.
yeah.
That's fucking crazy, man. That's over like that's well over like that's like 70% of the goals he's on the ice for. Like I mean that does speak to how weak the rest of our defense I guess is, but like or now was, hopefully past tense, but like it also shows you like how fucking good he is. Like
Well, it's how much he elevates the play, right? Like that's not to say that goals wouldn't have been scored with like if we didn't have him. I would hope that they would be scored if we didn't have him, but yeah, it's so night and day the difference when he's on the ice and when he's off the ice. Like it's just the amount that he takes over the play is incredible, and you just don't see that from defensemen, right? You got you got like Sidney Crosby, you got a McDavid, you got a Draisaitl, you got a Steven Stamkos or a Kucherov, right? Like you expect it from forwards to kind of elevate and take over like that, but defensemen to run the play and be everywhere, it's
oh
just
man, like
something
that
else
goal.
to see, man. It's a pleasure to watch every game.
Well, that game against Washington, like that was probably one of our best 60-minute games, I would argue. And obviously Hughes had both goals. And like that first goal, like he literally just like walked in and just a beauty of a backhand. And then the second goal was just like a nice setup screen and from the point he just hammered it home. But it was like, yeah, like you said, the guy just
Oh, that one play! I
he,
remember seeing an angle of that, and I have no idea. Honestly, even with a camera following the puck from behind the puck, I don't see how that got through all that traffic, man. But it did. Like he's got a way of doing it. It's just incredible. It's so much fun to watch. Yeah,
yeah,
but I'm hoping Pedersen. I don't know. I don't know what Shorthouse is gonna do with all these Pedersens, but
man. Well, I
I
mean,
feel a
luckily
little
with,
bad
with
for him.
Marcus coming into play, the other EP is probably back down to the AHL for the rest of the season, or maybe not. Who knows? But
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be funny when it is all three of them. Fucking yeah, Shorthouse is gonna have a heyday. He's gonna come up with some nicknames, I'm sure.
yeah. Pedersen to Pedersen to Pedersen.
Yeah, just fucking the
Matt,
memes that come up are hilarious. Basically, it's Quinn Hughes surrounded by Pedersons.
yeah. But
um,
no, I mean, hopefully he's not the most offensive defenseman or anything like that. But hopefully he stabilizes the back end and can play some good solid minutes and just be what we need, right? Um, yeah, I don't know what Pittsburgh's doing. I don't know what Dubas is thinking, but
US is. I mean, he just goes around and tanks teams. That seems to be his MO. So like, I don't know. I mean, like Pittsburgh's in a tough position because they obviously have an aging core in like Letang, Carlson, Malkin, and Crosby, and like I think they're the writing's on the wall that I don't know. It's tough because it's like for a player like Crosby, it's kind of like Ovechkin, where it's like, when you're in your final years, you try and like keep a cohesive team around him that can still compete. But like Pittsburgh's kind of at a point right now where they're like, okay, well, we should start rebuilding, but we don't want to do that to Crosby. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Like it sucks for them, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, ultimately, it sucks for Crosby too, right? It's what do you
Well,
do?
that's what I'm
Like,
saying. It
because to
sucks.
me, I'd say you don't want to do it because he's a franchise player. He's been there from day one. You know that you drafted him and everything. But again, like as a business, you move him. Like to me, it's not. It's a no brainer.
Yeah, no,
That
I
for
agree.
the betterment of the team, you got to move him. You know,
Yeah,
and
that or you
gets
just
because you're gonna get nothing for him, right? You're gonna
well, and
get
that,
his leadership in the room with a bunch of guys that aren't gonna be on the team in 3 years.
but you don't have a salary cap hit anymore. I agree with you, but it's one of those like I think Crosby sees the writing on the wall and he's like, this is probably just like he's gonna just play out the rest of his career to however good Pittsburgh is, and it is what it is. Like, yeah.
Could be,
Um,
yeah.
so I wanted to quickly look at our predictions here um, from last week. Obviously, none of us got them right because that's the trend we're going with. But
We're not
we're,
very
we're
good.
we were close on some. I mean, I got the right score in the Caps Canuck game. Just I was pessimistic and thought that the Canucks would lose, so that was a pleasant win for us. Like again, like I said, that was a good 60 minutes. The Blues game, Canucks came out flying. Definitely had some momentum from a big win. Again, both of you and I said that they were going to win. I said 4-3. You said 3-2. Ultimate outcome was 5-2. So, give ourselves half a point. And then actually, you called the Canucks win against the Preds. I thought since they've had our number, they were going to beat us, but no, that was a good 3-1 win. Good bounce back for Demko too, I think, in that game.
Yeah, he needs some bounces.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's struggling to find his stride, but it's like it's kind of nice knowing that we have such a solid backup that it's like okay, well if we gotta keep alternating or resort to Lankinen for a couple nights in a row, we're still gonna get the wins, right?
Yeah,
Or hopefully get the wins or keep us competitive. I'll say.
yeah. No, he's been stellar. He's been very good. There's really nothing to complain about with Lankinen whatsoever.
No, no, and then the Stars game, like you said, who cares? There's too much other turmoil going on, and in reality, two of the goals that the Stars scored there were actually empty netters. So Canucks were down 3-1, and then they pulled the goalie, empty netter. It was four, then it was 4-1. Then Canucks scored on that same power play because it was a short. Like they pulled the goalie because they were also on the power play. So um, then they got it back to 4-2, and then again another empty netter, making it 5-2. And then like with dying seconds, we scored one just to make it interesting, right? So it's like it was a closer game than the scorecard reads. Like I think at one point after two periods, we were like out shooting them like 20-8.
Oh wow.
Like so we're I feel like we're hopefully there's a little bit of upward momentum. Like it's a game I didn't expect them to win against the Stars anyways, but
No, the
um
Stars are really good, and it's unfortunate because you want to be seeing the Canucks be a really good team, but they just haven't been this year. So
no.
let's see how
Like I,
how the changes pan out, right? And it'll be interesting. I think it's gonna be. They've got what? When is the trade deadline? Is it March?
March 4th usually it's early March.
Okay.
So we got some time. Got
Yeah.
another month to figure shit out. Whether
Yeah.
like you said, whether we're buying or selling or just kind of, stay in the course for this year.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that concerns me is Hughes has no interest in a rebuild, right?
No.
So they need to kind of push. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them be buying to make the playoffs. Even because again, all you got to do is get in, right, and then it's a tournament from there.
Well,
And
that's it. Like our biggest competition right now is Calgary, which like at the start of the season, nobody even thought Calgary was going to do anything this year. So like, not to shit on Calgary, but also fuck it, it's Calgary, so I'm going to shit on them. Like, it's a team that we should beat out to make a playoff spot, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see Utah or St. Louis making a push. I mean, I could be wrong. The Sister Wives or the, what do they got left? The Outlaws, a few other names they've shortened to. Like, they could maybe make a push, but like, I don't think the Blues are good enough. I don't think the Kraken are good enough, and like, that's it. Like, so that last playoff spot should be ours, but I mean, right now we're obviously just fighting for it.
Yeah, it's coming down to us in Calgary, and LA's kind of not. They haven't taken off either.
No, they faltered again. Like they're fucked to 2-7-1 right now, lost four in a row. Like they kind of did the same thing last year where like up to up to the All-Star game they're playing good and then from there they just went on a brutal losing streak and like kind of almost threw themselves out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're 2-7-1 in their last 10, right? Like that's brutal.
Yeah, exactly. No, so it's there's hope. There's still hope. I honestly it's the standings other than like a few teams are like relatively tight. Like the Eastern Conference, like for those last couple spots, is like ridiculous right now. But even in the West, like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Ottawa's like they might make the playoffs this year.
hey, dude, I called it. What was it? Episode 2 there.
Yeah,
Like we had our hot take. You said Calgary was going to make it, which I think you're probably biting your tongue on that one now. But I
hey,
said Ottawa. And
Calgary is still. I mean, I'd like to see us and Calgary. Like, I'd like to see Vancouver and Calgary both in there, and fuck LA. And I think that's what I said in my prediction: is that LA was going to fall off at some point in the season. Calgary will sneak in, but I also thought the Canucks were a lock at the that early in the season, at the beginning of the year, right?
Oh, I think you and I are being a little Jekyll and Hyde, just like the team. Literally last episode, we were being fucking doom and gloom, saying that the season was over and better luck next year. And here we are with a little more positivity after some big trades. So yeah, it's
Trades
like I
and
mean,
a 3 game win streak, right? Winning games helps. You got to keep
oh yeah,
winning, right? Like they, because they do. They got to win a lot of games between here and the end of the season. Mathematically, they got to win it more than half. They got to still need to win roughly 2 out of every 3 games from here on out. So
yeah,
3 out of 4
for
is
sure.
good, right? That's 75% instead of 66, so that's good. you know, and hopefully the trades do pan out. But it's not. They're not out of the woods by
Oh
any
no, not at
stretch.
all. I think the timing of the trade, like you said, was perfect. Where like it gives us still a month buffer before the trade deadline to see how do these trades work, right? And
Mhm.
I feel like more and more teams are taking that aggressive approach. Um, like obviously Carolina going all in there on Rantanen. Um,
What a trade, eh?
oh, dude, it just came down to the salary cap, which like
Yeah,
I don't know whether the announcement here the other day would have made any difference to the Avalanche. Mind you, the GMs probably have the fucking inside scoop. They know roughly what the new number is going to be next year, right? Like
my
they
understanding is it had to do with the pay structure, and they could not pay someone more than Nathan McKinnon. And to keep Rantanen, his salary cap, he would have been getting paid more than Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean they locked in McKinnon early, right?
Yeah,
For like 8 years at what is he, 12 million? I want to say.
yeah. So that was their hard line. That's my understanding. That was their hard line with Rantanen. And
And honestly, that's fair. Like I mean, like shit. Like Nietzsche's has done well with. I mean, if you're gonna play with a guy like McKinnon, you're obviously gonna do well. So it's like not to say that like Rantanen was disposable, but like Avalanche will be fine. Like, and I think they got a pretty good return anyways. And like Nietzsche's, there's no way they're gonna have to pay him above McKinnon's wage. Like, I don't know when his contract comes up here, but like yeah, like I think it was a smart play on their end. They knew that they couldn't keep both, and they were proactive, is what they were. And you know what? I think it for them it paid off.
yeah, we'll see. Right? I mean, I think it's a trade that both teams probably are happy with. Right? I probably not Nathan McKinnon. He likes playing with Rantanen. I'm sure there's guys on Colorado that aren't stoked about it. Um, But I mean, he just isn't a bad player that you're getting back either, right? Like he's a very
Dude,
decent
he's had an
NHL.
excellent season this year.
Yeah. Um, but it makes sense for for Carolina too. That's a huge pickup for Carolina. Like that.
Well, Shanahan's going for fucking broke, bud.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like I yeah, I mean, I don't think they've got any room to make any other big blockbuster trades, but I mean, like they've got three solid lines. Like, I mean, I'm obviously a bit of a Carolina advocate in our fucking fantasy league here. I kind of pick them as one of my teams, to kind of root for in terms of player pickups. But yeah, like they got Rantanen, Aho, and then they got Blake, which I mean, fuck him. Svechnikov or Jarvis could be jumping in on that first line literally any time because Blake's, I think they're just trying to round the lines a bit. Then now they got Hall as well with
Which is
Kakaniemi, who's been
I didn't
great.
even. I was like, that guy's still playing.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a shell of his former self from when he played in Toronto or in Edmonton, eh? Like
Well, he had that one. Yeah, I mean, he had that massive year in New Jersey,
with New Jersey, you're
right?
right.
And then he went to
But that was
Chicago, and Chicago was just like,
he's had a bunch of bad injuries too over the last few years, so it's been I think he's had a bit of a tough go, but um, yeah, and then sorry to round out that third line, like Martinook's been like a machine. He's been hitting like crazy for them, and like Jordan Staal, obviously the captain with Jarvis, and Jarvis is 24 and playing fucking lights out. So, and then defensively, they've got three stacked defensive lines. So no, like I think with Anderson, my boy Anderson, picked him up off waivers. Um, back, like Carolina's going to be a tough team to beat this year, I think.
shit. So the Stars just picked up Michael Granlund and Cody Ceci from the Sharks.
Yeah, I said that
Did
fucking
you?
earlier. You weren't paying attention.
No, I
Yeah,
wasn't paying
yeah.
attention.
No, Granlund. Yeah, they made Sharks picked up another first round. I think they've got 20 of them for this. No, I don't know how many they have. I'm sure they have a few first round picks. Yeah, they picked him up for a first round there, and like Cody Ceci, like he was good for Edmonton, and like Granlund's been having a great year. So the only thing with Dallas is that that team has so much depth, and the way they deploy their lines is that they like almost play three lines evenly. Like even like a guy like Robertson or Jamie Benn, they only ever play like 15 or 16 minutes. So like
Yeah.
in terms of fantasy value, because obviously we talk about both things on this podcast. Like, I don't know whether Granlund's value goes up by moving to Dallas because he's probably going to get slated on like a third line. Maybe I'm wrong, um, but it's like like he's going to add a lot of depth to that team. Like Dallas is also going to be making a run for the cup here.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, they're a good team, and I think beyond goaltending, I don't know that there's much fantasy value. I mean, Robertson, obviously, but yeah, I know what you're saying because no one's
Robertson's
getting
been
played huge minutes, right? Because they do roll the lines very evenly, and
well. Robertson had like a pretty slow start, to be quite honest. He started off like, yeah, he was shit this year. I was trying to pick him up, buy him low pretty much all season, but he wouldn't bite. Yeah, like just looking here right now on Daily Faceoff, yeah, they slide Granlund in to center that third line with Dadonov and Stankoven, which that's yeah, I mean, fuck, they got some good firepower on that end.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
It's
interesting times.
it's it's funny. I noticed like as one big trade happens, it almost like pushes the other GMs to start making moves too. Like people start getting nervous, right? It's like, oh fuck, got to make a move here, got to do something. Like after that Rantanen trade, it just sort of set the wheels in motion for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I don't know that had any bearing on the Vancouver trade. I think I think they just had to iron the details out with New York.
Well, like there was talks of, and I don't know how fucking true they are, that Carolina was looking at either Petey or Miller, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure one. Yeah, I mean the Brandon move that obviously takes Carolina out of the picture, and it's unfortunate because I mean if I gotta take Brandon, but Colorado's likely not making that trade to with Vancouver, right?
no, no, definitely not.
But yeah, also interesting. A little minor news note, but I just gotta tip my hat. Kuz is now going to the Flyers.
Yeah, actually, that was another like kind of trade that came up. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, I can't think of a player that would do worse under fucking Torts' system. I'll be quite honest.
I
Like,
know. It's I feel bad for him. I genuinely do because I have a feeling he's going back to the K.
hello, family. You got a Happy Meal? Lucky. And a dinosaur toy. Sweet. Might need some help. Okay. Sorry, might need to cut a little bit of this out or not. We'll see.
Yeah, but
But
yeah, I feel bad for him. I have a feeling he's going back to the KHL.
I kind of think so too. Like I think Calgary was trying to like they took a gamble on him when they picked him up from the Canucks. He did half decent there, and then obviously has really slowed down as well this season. So I think honestly Calgary did quite well. Like they're looking like buyers, even though at this like I said at the start of the season they look like sellers, or everyone thought they were going to be sellers. So like I don't know, like obviously just keeping tabs on all these guys due to fantasy. Like Frost is a pretty solid player, and Farabee is good too. Like so, I think they bolstered their offense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Kuzco's is a straight like he's when he's having fun, things are going well, right? But he worked great with the Bruce Boudreau system, which wasn't really a system. It was like, hey, go out there, have fun, boys.
Well, pretty much that was it.
Put
Like
the puck in the net,
exactly they just like let him throw. Yeah, like they basically just like let him cherry pick there. Which like, oh man, what game was that? Sorry, just a tangent there. There's Corey Perry. God, I hate that slime ball.
Uh,
He dude, there was like the one highlight I saw there. He was literally like while their team was playing on defense, like obviously like he's got faith in his line mates, but like he literally sat at the other team's blue line, waited for his team to retrieve the puck, and then they just passed it to him and he scored a breakaway. It was like that was the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. Like,
yeah,
dirtiest thing, Co.
Oh, you? How about dirty blanket?
A dirty blanket. I've seen some dirty blankets.
You did?
I did.
oh man. Fun fact. I was just looking at Frost compared to Kuzmenko. Frost is having a much better season than Kuzmenko right now. He's played.
Yeah.
Dozen more games. So I guess Kuz got injured at some point, but Kuzmenko
he did.
has 135 points in 190 games, 65 goals, 70 assists. Frost has 135 points in 278 games. So he's played almost 100 more games than Kuz and has the exact same number of points.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Kuz, that first year in Vancouver, he was lighting it up.
Yeah, but what was his shooting percentage? Like 45 or something? Like it was so I know maybe not that high, but it always made me laugh because like he didn't actually take a ton of shots, but like literally every shot he took counted and like went in the net. Like it was like, definitely some, rookie NHL going his way. Canucks were playing well. And you know what? I think the Canucks kind of sold high on him to Calgary, which ended up working out for us. Like,
oh, they definitely did. They obviously did, right? And like you say, Calgary kind of took a gamble on it, and people were upset about it. But again, he didn't work with Tocchet. It's very obvious that Tocchet is the coach. There's no plan to fire him. You got to work. The system is the system, right? They've built this system. Basically, Tocchet's coaching the same way that they're coaching in Abbotsford. So it's a pipeline that they've developed and they've built, right? So you need to play in that system because they believe that system's what's going to win.
Well, that's it. Yeah, and like you know what, with Tocchet's system, like I do like it. I feel like it does kind of stifle a player like Pettersson a little bit. But that being said, PD's like he's so sound defensively that I'm not too worried. Yeah, like it is. Like you said, it's the management is bought in that he's the guy. That being said, he does not have an extension for next year yet.
That's true. Yeah, this is the last year on his deal, and
So it's like, if everything goes tits up here, then like maybe they change him out too. But I have a hard time seeing that. Like, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I was reading some stats. I don't have them in front of me right now, but like as a as a Jack Adams recipient, most Jack Adams recipients as of late like have usually only lasted with a team for another year or two before being fired.
yeah.
So
Oh,
it's like
the shelf life of a coach is short.
oh yeah, like I think like Pocket right now is like the 10th longest tenured coach in the NHL or something crazy.
Yeah, like
Like
2 years, a year or two. Yeah,
well that's what I mean. Like out of 30 teams, he's like in the top 10. Like that doesn't I don't know.
yeah. And he's got
It's
I
fine.
mean, his record as a coach in Vancouver is very good. His record overall, because of those years in Arizona with terrible teams in Arizona, is not so good. But his record as a coach in Vancouver is very good.
Oh yeah, no, I think they're gonna let him keep doing his thing until like he loses the faith of the team or that Canucks nosedive. But yeah, I mean I like Talkit. I'm an advocate. Like
Yeah,
definitely, it's a little bit safer, more boring hockey than other coaches we've had. But it's for the most part when it works, it works.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't really have any issues with his coaching at all. I think there's some people. I think people over tend to overreact. Um, especially like the drama about Brandstrom playing or not playing. Like, Jesus Christ, like, he's a borderline NHL caliber defenseman, if at all.
That's your
And
Canucks fans for you, though.
and it's just like, why you're freaking out? Like, you think that's why we're winning and losing games? Give your head a shake. Like, that's not why they're winning or losing, right? It's you see the whole effort out there, and that's the shitty thing. And I hope that changes. I hope that with some new blood and with some with Miller out of there, we see a change in that. We see some more stability in their effort, in their drive, and hopefully it starts being fun for them to come in, right? That the guys want to do it and be there. Hopefully that's where it heads. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Like as much as I love Miller and like I'll be honest, like he's with us for what 6 years. Like
yeah, you've been like number one Miller fanboy for a long time now.
I was a Miller fanboy, and like it's just so funny because he is such a polarizing player. Like when he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's bad. And the fan base is like the worst for that because
Yeah,
it's like when he was having shit years, it was literally blame Miller. Why would we sign him? He's the worst. And then boom, last 2 seasons in a row, putting up 99 points and over 100 points. Everyone's like Miller, our savior. And then now again, this drama comes up and fuck Miller. He's such a bum. Why would we waste our money? It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's like I think for what it's worth, he's an incredible player. He's gritty. He fucking pisses like he's kind of like the Ryan Kessler of our generation or like of this generation, where like he knows how to get under other players' skins. You hate to play against him, but you love to have him on your team. And it's like if it weren't for some of this recent back end drama, like Canucks wouldn't have any reason to part ways with him. But clearly, there's disagreements between him and Petey. Obviously, Rutherford confirmed it. Although everybody fucking knew it,
yeah.
and
Well,
it's
what
like you got to.
was disheartening about that was him mentioning like they've worked on it a lot and it goes away, but then it resurfaces and it's clearly not going away. So
Yeah,
it's at that point, yeah, something has to change.
yeah, you got to.
One or two or both have to go, and both going is still an option. It's still absolute to me. It's 100% on the table. It's unfortunate because I'm a huge fan of Pedersen, but he's got to do better. Like he has not played well enough, especially like since the playoffs last year into this year. He just hasn't.
Oh, basically, since like after the All Star break last year, he just kind of fell off. I mean, like he's gonna put up what like
Yeah,
he's on
and
pace
and
or something.
to be fair, when Miller took his little leave to fix his home life or whatever, Pedersen started playing really well. It was a small sample size, but in those games that Miller was gone, Pedersen was
Yeah,
he was doing very well. I think he was around point a game, whatever in that stretch. So then Miller comes back and you kind of see him kind of tail off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where they hope. And I mean, he's out there. He had a point last night. I realized it didn't mean anything, but um, you know, hopefully this is what kickstarts that, right? And he gets back to being what we all know he can be. But yeah, so
Yeah.
here,
I'll have
yeah,
another drink to, a new fresh start here, I guess.
yeah, and PD fine getting his shit together.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, we'll see how the boys do here going forward. You know, being a being a faithful Canuck fan as I have for the last, fucking 35 years, let's hope they keep me on my toes. And yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly achievable, right? They can do it. They're not out of it. They're close, but they're not out of it,
Oh yeah,
right?
they're right on the bubble there. Like it's like you said, like ideally to be in a comfortable position and we win 2 out of 3 games. I think you could play a little bit worse than that, but you wouldn't want to. So
Yeah, the risk is then you're relying on other teams to fuck up, right? You're losing your ability to control it, right? If you're winning 2 out of 3, then you you're essentially establishing that you will make that spot. But if you do less than that,
yeah,
then
yeah.
you're hoping that other teams are falling off and doing worse than you are, right? And that's not this, that's not the place you want to be.
No, no, that's not the position you want to be in. And I mean, like LA has done that. They've lost 2 games straight here by shutout. Like they're, mind you, they still got 2 games in hand, but we're only 2 points back out of that third spot of the Pacific. So, I think Oilers and Kings, obviously, they got an extra 10-point buffer above the Kings. So there's, I don't think those. Basically, it's just going to depend who's winning the division between those 2 teams. But I don't really care. Like, you got to beat the best to win the cup. So, whether we end up facing off against the Oilers or the Knights, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a tough challenge either way.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you got to beat the best to be the best. Simple as that, right? So
Yeah.
just get into the tournament. That's the key. That's what the season's all about. Is just getting into the tournament. Positioning is
Yeah.
nice, but ultimately, you got to make the tournament to play in.
Honestly, we played better on the road, so who knows? Maybe being a road team might be to our advantage, but
Well,
that's
and I think they're built for a playoff style hockey, a physical grinding playoff style hockey. I think that's what the Canucks are. They're more built for that than really anything else. So
well, and I think we did like a good job. Like obviously, like DRNA just didn't pan out for us. We took a gamble, like that. Like you said, that was one of the few scouting, pickups that we made that didn't work for us. I mean, I guess there's been more than just that. Like obviously with Daniel Sprong there,
yeah, but
but
Sprong was a nothing, right? At the same
no,
time,
I know, and I
right?
mean like the DRNA was always going to be like a third, maybe second line pairing, but like I think with Marcus Pettersson, I don't want to put the fucking cart ahead of the horse, but like we replaced that same because like he hits and blocks like a motherfucker. Like you look at his stats from last season, like he puts up like close to 200 of each. So he's basically a direct replacement and a better direct replacement for Desharnais. Again, we'll see, but statistically speaking, Canucks definitely traded up on that end, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, kudos to management. I think they did a pretty good job. Like if you were to look at it strictly on the basis of like what the end result of these last 2 trades was, it was essentially Miller and Desharnais for Hedel and Pettersson. And
Yeah,
I think if you
but
look
you
at
got to
it,
throw Heinen in there too, because Heinen was he's played every game, right? He hasn't. I don't
you're
think he's
right.
been
You're
screwed.
right.
So
Heinen was. I did like him. He was, but I think he's replaceable. Is what I'm getting at. And
yeah, well, you swap him for O'Connor or whatever, right? And I don't know much about O'Connor. I really don't. Um,
no,
so
like I still think you go now that we've cleared up some cap space. Like you said, I still think if the Canucks are buyers come trade deadline, they go for it and they try and pick up somebody to bolster our offense. Like I think our defense is looking a lot better, and you just get one more guy to slot into that second line role there.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully another
and the
second line center.
benefit of the cap going up is I think I'm not sure who is a free agent this year, but obviously Marcus Pedersen will need to be re-signed, right? I don't think they made that deal to not re-sign him, right? I think they want
No,
to
no,
keep him.
I think they were chasing him like even last season, and that just never came to fruition before the trade deadline. So now that they have him, you're right. I think they try and sign him for whatever 5 year at 5 million or whatever they can get him at. I
Yeah,
don't know how much he's going to be demanding.
yeah. But with the cap going up and
It's
everything,
just
it's fine. They can afford it, right? And with Miller's contract out of there, but again, yeah. Now the goal is to. I think they need another center. I think unless Hedel is just, you know, he could be. It could be like a William Karlsson or something like that. Just needs the opportunity. I mean, JT Miller needed the opportunity, right? When he came out, when he was in Tampa, you were never getting into those top minutes. So sometimes that's just what a player needs, right? Is to get into a different club where they've got the opportunity to play the minutes to with better players. So maybe that's all he needs. We'll see.
yeah,
I'm not
no,
gonna
no,
hold my breath on it, but you know, it. I would expect with the 5 million or whatever that they've got in cap space, they're picking up at least one forward, maybe two. You know.
yeah. I think if they could get a second line center, great. If they can't, I think Suter or Hedel could possibly fill that gap and just maybe bolster your left wing has been it's a tough position. I find, like, I mean, again, just speaking strictly from fucking fantasy hockey knowledge, but like I feel like to pick up a center or a right wing on the waivers is so much easier in our league than it is for any sort of left wings. Like left wings, there's not many that are available, and I think that probably speaks true as well. Like unless there's a guy that's going up for UFA or something, and teams are just looking to get rid of and get a pick out of it. But I guess Canucks don't even have a fucking pick to give up. I guess they have their pick, which I don't know whether they want to do that necessarily, since we've dropped a pick a couple years in a row. But like, if we could find a half decent left wing to bolster that second line, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, just don't know who that would be.
I know. I literally don't have an answer to that question either. I'm just saying, like, I think that's sort of the position that's currently on our roster a bit lacking. Like, I think on the right wing we got you got Besser, Garland, Carlson, Pizza Man, and fucking Sherwood. So like you got some options there, but like who do you got on left wing beside DeBrusque? You got O'Connor, Hoglander, who like obviously has been in fucking Talkin's doghouse numerous times, and Joshua, which like I mean I love Joshua, but like he's a third line guy at most, right? Maybe this Drew O'Connor guy like fucking wows me, but I would think that that's the position you try and you desperately need to make a bit better.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to look around at teams, but I I don't know, man. I don't know who else is out there that would be in a selling position that's got a left wing.
I don't know if anybody's listening right now and they've got answers. Let us know.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to know. You know, Anders Lee maybe in New York. He's kind of old though. He's got another year left.
Sorry, who's that?
Anders Lee. I mean, I would love to see Philip Forsberg, but
Well,
I
another
don't
name
think
that's
I would be shocked if they could get that out of Nashville.
yeah, I agree. Like a name that I wouldn't mind, and he's a center. He's been kind of I don't know. I've always spoken highly of him, but Brock Nelson, he could possibly be a good fit, and he has been a name that's come up as a possible trade out of New York, like out of the Islanders. So I don't know who the Canucks give up for it. We end up giving up some picks, I'm sure, but that could be a possible option.
the thing is the Canucks tend to go for guys. They're not looking for guys 30 plus, and even Philip Forsberg, I think, is 30, right? So they're looking for kind of they to feed the pipeline with Hughes, right? To make sure that you're hitting the window correct. They're looking for guys still in that like 25 to 29 age range.
That's fair. Like unless you're picking this guy up as literally a rent player, like for the end of the season, and I think Nelson is on like the tail end of his contract here.
He
I could
is,
be,
yeah, he's on the last year of his deal, so it's possible, right?
yeah. Like I mean, I get it. He's 33 years old, but like the guy fucking is relentless at shooting, and he's got pretty good face-off numbers. Like I don't know. It's not out of the realm of possibility, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know
Like
how
I
you.
don't think management's done cooking yet. I don't think they're done cooking.
No, not by any stretch. Holy fuck! Anaheim has 43 million in cap space.
Jesus.
Didn't even know you could get that. But hey,
It's
maybe
impressive.
like Trevor Zegras. I don't know where he fits it. Like where, what point is Anaheim in their rebuild, retool, tear down? Would they
I don't
move? Would
know. I
they
feel
move
like
a Troy Terry? He's 27. He might be a little too old for him.
maybe because they got who else do they got? They got McTavish there. I think he's a center.
They got a bunch. They got Trevor Zegras. They got Troy Terry, Ryan Strome, Robbie Fabry. I mean, they can't be, but they list all these guys are listed as centers. For Frank Vetrano.
Is Robbie Fabry? He plays for. I thought he played for. Oh, he does play for Anaheim.
Yep.
Is there another Fabry? Does he play for fucking Columbus there? Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bit buzzed here, so my
Yeah, we should probably give it. We should do our picks, right? We should do our. We got a couple games coming up this week, right? We got Detroit tomorrow, Avalanche Tuesday, Sharks on Thursday, and then
and
the
that's it.
Leafs on Saturday. Yeah, let's just
We'll
do.
leave
We'll
leave
do.
the we'll leave the Saturday game for after the next episode.
Sure.
We'll aim to do it on Friday again.
All right. So what do you
All right,
think? What are you thinking for Detroit?
fuck, I don't know. Like Detroit's honestly been pretty, they've been pretty fucking red hot to be honest. Like what was their
They've
record
been
been
some
here?
real red hot wings.
They've been some red hot wings. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to make my joke there earlier with Frost going to the Flames.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty funny. No, but they have been. I mean, they're 6-3-1. They're on a 4-game winning streak. You know, I mean, even with Kane out of the lineup, not that he's an ultimate factor, but they've been pretty good. They've been pretty good. I want to say we win that one though. I think with Demko playing uh, he played the last 2 games, so I could see us going back to Lankinen. And I mean, I don't think it really matters who's in net, but I say we win that one. I'm gonna give it a nice 4-2 Canucks there. You know, maybe one of the new guys gets on the board here in that game.
Okay.
What's your guess on the Wings?
Wings. I'm gonna go with a good old 3-1 victory against the Wings. I just don't think they got the firepower to beat the beefed up blue line and the goaltending the Canucks have. I just don't see them getting more than one.
Yeah, all right. Fucking pessimist, whatever.
What do you mean?
Not that I'm just being pessimistic. That's all. I'm just saying you're being a little pessimistic.
On Detroit? Sure. Yeah, I'll be pessimistic on Detroit.
I'm just fucking with you. I mean, they've been. I guess Talbot's been pretty good in net for them, and I don't know. Their goaltending's been a bit of a revolving door, but mind you, Alex Lyon's pretty good as well. He's a good young goalie.
It
Avalanche,
doesn't mean they're going to
Avalanche.
score goals.
No, no, I know. You shut your mouth, Rosie. What do we got here? Avs, Canucks. I don't know. Like, I don't think we win that game as much as I'd love to say we do. We did beat them last time, didn't we? I think we did. We seem to fucking win against the harder matchups for whatever reason.
Yeah, we beat them
Uh,
3-1.
yeah, in December there. I'm gonna say we lose that one. Might be close. 3-2 loss.
I think it's going to be a little more high flying than that. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean, I still don't know that they have the best defense. The Avs do, um, or goaltending. But I think though they'll still outscore Vancouver. So I'm going 5-3 for the Avs.
All right. And then I think they got the Sharks here. They'll be on the road there. Um, I'm gonna guess a 5-2 win against the Sharks.
Confident.
That's that two out of three. 2 out of 3.
Yep. Yeah, they need to get
If you
that.
if you will it, it will happen, right? Right?
Yeah. It's well, I'm I think the Sharks can score. Vancouver can score.
Yeah, but
I'm
Sharks did just lose Granlund, which he was pretty big piece of their puzzle there. Like it obviously bumps up some other guys, but
yeah. I mean, their offense kind of revolves around Celebrity, right?
for
And
sure, yeah.
Loman's been really good from the back end as well. Um,
Oh yeah, he's like a fucking budget headman there. He's been great.
yeah. And so I'm gonna go 4-3 for the Canucks.
4-3 Canucks. All
Yeah.
right.
So I think we're picking Canucks to win the way. We're both picking Canucks to beat the Wings. Avs to win on Thursday
Yeah,
or on Tuesday, and then the Canucks to take the Sharks on Thursday. So we'll see. All right, man. Well, with that, should we do one last shot and color?
absolutely.
All right. Cheers, Dan.
Cheers, buddy. I switched to the Fireball there. I had to. Couldn't do that fucking vodka anymore, or the chocolate vodka. It was terrible.
Yeah, it sounded terrible. All right, man. Well, thanks for this, and we'll talk again next week.
Yeah, buddy. And anybody who's listening there, or probably not, but maybe somebody is, yeah, let us know. Shoot us a comment, and we'll try and answer it.
Yeah, sounds good.